Now, look, it's late. And I was getting awfully concerned thinking about the young men of this country, thinking about, hell, people my age, and just people who were out there just trying to, live and survive out there. But then I was also thinking, it is getting awfully difficult to just try and date. And I was wondering why. And I was thinking, in a world full of incels and men going their own way, and black-pilled individuals and guys who are just swearing off the pussy altogether, I was thinking there is a reason for this. There's got to be a deeper reason, and it can't be that far-fetched to think it's just something very simple. So I did some simple Google searching, and I came up with some basic numbers, and I was like, you know what? A lot of this is starting to make sense when I started to add it up. So I just started off with my own formula, and I was like, let's just start off with how much money is the average guy making per year, right? So the average guy, turns out he's obviously making about $48,000 here in America. So that's a good rounded number right there, right? So you got to factor in the taxes. Say, hell, in Tennessee, you're going to probably get about a good 15% of those taxes taken out. So if you got about a good 15% of those taxes taken out, that's a good $7,200 gone from that. That's leaving you with $40,800 left. Divided by 12 months of the year, leaving you with a whopping $3,400 per month after taxes. So how do you break it down after that, right? So the average rent per person in America is $1,625 per month. Now, our metrics today are based on just one average person. Nothing else, no roommates, nothing else, just an independent, self-serving individual who just makes it and grinds and gets it done on their own. So that's the average rent payment. So what else do we usually have per month? Well, usually most people have a car, right? Say if you're in my scenario and you had to get a brand new car, you had no choice because somebody crashed in the back of your car and they didn't have insurance and they fled the scene of the crime. I mean, yeah, you're left in an effed up situation where your insurance company wasn't going to cover your vehicle, even though it was going to probably last another 100,000 miles. They said, no, sir, we're not going to cover that. So here's your small check. Good luck with your next vehicle. So now I have an average, car payment of $735 per month. That's not my car payment, but that is the average car payment for a brand new car. Now, if you had a used car, it's about $200 less. But let's go with the new car example for just today. So that's what you got added on for that as well. So let's think about what else do you usually have per month? Well, every month you also usually have, internet. And an internet bill usually averages out to about a good another $80 per month. So we got another 80 there, right? So what else do we usually have to have that goes with internet? Oh, subscriptions. Yeah, subscriptions usually also go with internet bills because, what else are we using the internet for? Besides the fact that we almost can't even use our cell phones, which we pretty much use our cell phones for everything. And I'll also add that factor in just a second. But subscriptions average out to be another $80 per month. So that's not another small fee, right? What else do we usually have per month? Utilities. So if you're renting an apartment, right, you don't have to factor in water, sewage, garbage, or anything like that. So pretty much you're just paying for electricity. And that averages out to be about another $140 per month. So let's talk about cell phone payments, another crucial item that we must have in our everyday lives. Hell, homeless people have cell phones damn near until the service cuts out. I mean, everybody pretty much needs one. It's almost your portable laptop at all times, and then you use it as a personal lifeline. Then what does that average out to? Another $140 per month. Boy, I tell you what, we're already cutting it tight because once you added that and the electricity in, that's another deep and hefty bill to add in right there. So what else do we use every month? Gasoline, right? Because we got to go to work. We got to travel. We got to go somewhere because we have that car that we have spent all that money on. So how much money do we usually average out in gas per month? The average person spends about $205 in gas per month just traveling. God forbid you had to go out of town or travel any further than just going to work every other day. So let's think about something else we have to spend money on. I was just thinking, what if you had student loans and the average student loan payment turns out to be $335 per month? Boy, luckily mine isn't that much, but it does kick me in the nuts every month, every time I have to pay it, and it does hurt. So this is just factoring these bills. These are all very crucial and pretty much everything that most average person or average people would have on their resume. So what does that average out to be every month? That is $3,340 per month. And you already started off with $3,400, leaving you $60 for the rest of the month to do what? We didn't even mention food. We never even talked about eating. What do? Do you just eat ramen each and every day? Damn. I mean, God forbid if you're trying to date, because you can't date on this budget. It's impossible. We didn't even talk about having benefits at work, because if you have benefits at work, then you know that's extra $60 is hella gone. And then on top of that, what if you got like some terrible weed habit? You know you can't afford it now. You're struggling. You're bumming off of folks now. You're over here hassling your best friends. You're hassling people on the streets just like those bums. You're struggling. Then there's other things that you might, I mean, God forbid you had a gambling problem. What if you're doing stuff like that too? I mean, there's all sorts of different things. There's no money to take women out. On what budget? There's nothing to do. You're going to be sitting around eating what? Beanies and weenies? That's the only thing you and that chick are going to be able to afford because you don't have any money. You're going to be asking her out on goodwill. And I mean, just that's all you have. Eating wish sandwiches at the table with paper plates. I mean, just struggle food, struggle life. And I'm telling you, those cheeks are going to be dusty. And I mean, she is going to be just very sandy down there, and it's not going to be a good time. She's not going to want to open up. In hell, after a while, you're not even going to want to go down there. It's not even going to be fun. I don't know how you can have fun on this budget. Didn't even mention about having credit card bill, because most people have credit card problems, and you know how much money that is per month. That averages out on the minimum payment about $200 per the average American. Another $200 per month, which means we're just swimming in debt. We're swimming in debt. So, I mean, maybe it's not just the fact that these men are lacking all the confidence in the world. Maybe it's just for the fact that they know financially they can't do it. Some of these guys, yeah, they got issues, you know, like mentally and stuff like that. They can't talk to chicks. They spend too much time beating their meat, watching way too much porn and stuff like that. Like, oh man, I didn't even mention, what if you have an OnlyFans addiction? Jesus Christ, if you always are just like whacking it online and you got all these different like pornography sites everywhere where you just subscribe to, spending your money on that. God forbid you're spending super chat money on YouTube and stuff like that with your favorite content creators. There's no money left. I don't know how you survive. We surpassed the $3,400 budget a long time ago. And now I'm talking, if you had these other habits, you can't even afford if you had a bigger salary. How do you live? Life is very difficult. Like almost at this point in time, I'm willing to tell women that if a guy doesn't say he has a roommate, that's almost a red flag, which is just, you know, just painting a red flag all over my face, which just hurts. But I'm just telling you, that means that guy's probably struggling. If you ain't cutting off some expenses somewhere, boy, I'm telling you, you are hurting. Like they're tugging at them nuts. I mean, it is gut wrenching. And it's not something that any person should go through. So I'm hoping you all learned something in today's video. I know it's late and I know it's dark in here. And I was like, look, I gotta just share this because there's so many guys out there struggling. And they're always talking about the man loneliness epidemic, which is real. Why does it exist? Why is there a male loneliness epidemic? I mean, golly, I cannot speak. It's late. I'm over here fumbling over my words, but still, and I just realized how loud I might have been. And it's, you know what time it is, but yeah, we're in child birth rate decline right now. And these numbers aren't going to help it increase. You can't afford children. Like I said, you can't even afford to take a woman out to get a bologna sandwich. I mean, it is a tough time. I mean, what do? The only thing you can do is go on walks. That's why guys are out here offering walks as the first date. Hey, you want to just go take a trip? You know what I'm saying? We just go, you know, walk together. Sounds creepy, I know, but I won't take you in the woods. We'll stay out in public, you know, as long as I don't spend any money. I mean, maybe we can stop and find like a water fountain somewhere in a park, you know, and then we can drink there and, you know, have a moment to speak again. Because I'm telling you, the dates, they wanting extravagant dates. I see why women are now having the expectations of they need to damn near date NBA players, because the average guy, we ain't cutting it. We ain't cutting it. There's just not enough money in the tank. And I mean, I get it, because they want to go out here and eat lobster and crab and you know, and get their pedicures and all that stuff. And I mean, there's not enough money in it. Pay for the weaves and sandals, like, you know, O'Shea Duke Jackson would talk about. There's a lot of investing. I mean, hell, you're lucky if you can afford anything for Valentine's Day. That's why guys be breaking up with their chicks before Valentine's Day, because look at these numbers. They're like, I need to cut somewhere. And maybe if I cut her out for a little while, maybe we'll get it back together in a couple of months after I save a few dollars. Maybe in a couple of months, I might have about $300 and we might be able to go out to Red Lobster. I mean, that's about all we'll have. Tough times, man. Tough times. But good luck to those men out there. If you need somebody to speak to, come to Random University and be entertained by the content that we provide here, because we're trying our best to uplift spirits and make sure we guide you out of these dark times. Make you think, you know what? It's not so bad out there in the world. Even though we're broke and we're struggling out here, don't even have enough money to wash our clothes and just, look sanitary on a daily basis, I'm going to find a way to be happy. That's right. They just cut my lights off earlier, but I'm going to be happy. It's cold as shit in this bitch. But I'm telling you, it's rough, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to figure it out somehow, some way. Well, anyway, see you soon. Living in a situation like this for anybody is terrible, though. Like, considering, honestly, this is how you end up eating chopped up hot dogs for lunch like Butters from South Park. These are the worst type of living conditions. When you just don't have any money, you're going to have to just start making all sorts of horrible decisions, thinking just whatever I can do financially to make it to the next day is what you start having to think. You start just slicing and dicing dollars over here thinking, do I need to get $5 in gas here? Do I need to get bread just so I can maybe eat some PB&Js for a couple of days? You start making some sacrifices. It's pretty bad. This is how you know when it's bad, is when you start looking at your friends and you start noticing they're starting to sell all their shit. You're looking around like, whoa, what happened to your PS5? You got rid of the PS5, the Xbox, the X series, and you also got rid of your PC too. Damn. And all they're trying to do is justify it by saying, oh yeah, I'm just trying to downsize. I'm really, just trying to cut back on the gaming and whatnot. That's not really my lifestyle anymore. I don't do that as much anymore. And it's like, dude, you were online last night. Hell, you've been online every day this week. As a matter of fact, you've been online every day for the last 3 years. This is what you do. And to just get rid of this is not normal. Are you okay? The answer is no, but they're not going to tell you that. They're going to try to justify it by being like, well, I like to do a lot of reading now. I'm just really trying to change my lifestyle. And it's like, well, bro, you better get more than 3 books if you're going to fulfill that lifestyle. And they're going to be like, well, that's why I sold the consoles. That's why I sold them, because I'm going to buy more books and I'm going to really get into that. Really expand my brain. When that's not what they're doing. They're really just trying to add up enough money so they can make sure they can pay rent the next month so they don't have to embarrass themselves or crash out. I'm telling you, these are bad times, man. It's sort of like if you look at some big chick, all of a sudden she started losing a bunch of weight. It's probably because, well, she been broke. Can't afford to eat anymore. You can't live that my 600-pound lifestyle if you don't get EBTs. If you're living a normal life like the rest of us and you have to afford it, you're going to have to start making some tough choices. I done seen it. I've seen many chicks get thin out of, life, desperation, just circumstances, by habit. They weren't good. I'm just saying. I've seen some chicks lose weight and you're like, dang, man, she's starting to look good. And you realize, that's not good loss. And it's not heroin. It's not quite heroin, but it's not much better. That's tough stuff. But being broke and being poor, I guess it can build character. It does. It's sort of like anytime you have to really grow up in life. I feel like you have to hit rock bottom. Like you leave the house and you don't want to ask your parents and stuff for help all the time. Well, what happens? You got to go broke at some point in time. You almost got to make decisions to be like, what do I do? I remember when I was in college, I went broke quite a few times and I was getting a little bit of aid from my parents, but I wasn't always doing the best things with my money. And I wouldn't always, decide to work every weekend if I made a lot of money the previous weekend when I was serving at Cracker Barrel, which leads to a long other lifestyle that my God, I'll get to that story one other day. But pretty much I was making money when I needed it. And in times you would just run out of money. You'd be spending it too much on partying and kicking it with your friends and, smoking and all sorts of different things that you didn't need to be doing it, eating more than you needed to, girls, alcohol, all the wrong choices. Nonetheless, I remember I started having to make choices between going to class and then picking up shifts at work. And I was like, hell, it's my senior year. I'm going to make it anyway. So I might as well just go to work and make some extra money. But those are decisions you have to start making, especially when you're broke. Tough. I hate it now though, because this is no way to live. This is no way to live. We can all do better. I think, now I said that wrong. We all want to do better, but dang, I'll tell you what, life is really making that difficult. When they got that vice grip on you like it's Friday after the next, it becomes very difficult to get that motivation to go out there and be like, let's get life today. Ooh, I tell you what, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, that's really summing it up. That's where you really got to dig deep. That's why people say find religion, find God, because he will help you get through these tough times, because there are going to be some tough times.